tonight. Thank y'all for joining me for Who Needs Family Anyway. Okay, this is part two of video. This is day 10 actually of my 30-day live challenge, and this is a part two series. And I brought my sister along to help me out. So everybody that's watching, y'all go ahead and give a round of do you say round of applause? Clap it up
No.
for my sister. I'm about to try to share this joint. Y'all go ahead. Shauntee, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Hi. Hey, y'all. Hey. So I am Shauntee B. I'm a child. Um, serial entrepreneur, mother of four, um, sister, great friend. Look, um, I'm all of that wrapped up in one. But I'm more importantly today, I am Tommy's sister, and I am so excited about what he's doing and the topics that he's been tackling. And so I had to get in and tag in on this. So
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. For everybody out there, that's my sister. She's the oldest of the Billups clan, and I thought she would be a great fit to bring into on this live because today's topic is a topic. Like I said yesterday, we talked about family and like really creating the family that you want when you go through a divorce. And today, I want to talk to um the family of people who are experiencing divorce and right really don't know how to handle that situation. Maybe you've never been in a situation where you have a close relative going through a divorce and you want to help, right? You want to be there to support them, you want to be there, and you don't know how, and then like you say some dumb stuff. This is for you, okay? This is for you, not do. I'm not here to beat you up. I'm here to let you guys help you guys understand what's the thought process of somebody going through a situation like this and how you as a family member could be supportive without breaking any boundaries or overstepping or like just outright just being wrong about the situation. So what I want to start is start off with my sister. So for those of you who don't know, my dad, before my dad got married, my dad had my older sister Shauntee. After he got married, then the other five came. So we grew up together as much as possible, but there were times where we didn't see each other or we weren't around each other, right? And as a kid, you don't really realize how that the role that plays in a way that a person process things or the way that they view the world. We don't think about that. And I grew up, I had my siblings every day all the time. She didn't. So I wanted to ask her this question because this is a question I never actually asked my sister. What
oh
was that
Lord,
like for you?
oh Lord. So funny. I always tell people this. Like, I think that I'm a awesome friend. Like, for those who know me, like I'm like my friends. They're my family. My friends are my family. So last night when you were just saying like family and relatives, I felt that to my core. So I always felt like because I didn't necessarily grow up in a house with you guys, I kind of always yearned for that kind of relationship. So that's why like me and my friends are so close because my friends are like my siblings. Um, ultimately, though, it never really affected me until I came to see you guys and I realized what y'all had that I didn't have. But um, like I say, I think what I would do is when I would leave from your house, well, from dad's house, when I would leave from there, I would just go take that to my friends, like, and put that same love and energy into them. Like I tell everybody, I'm like, I think because I always wanted to be close and like have siblings around me all the time is why my friends, like anybody who knows me knows that my friends are everything to me. Like we're close like this, you wouldn't know that we weren't real siblings, like by blood, you know?
Yeah. So that's really neat. So kind of like what I was saying yesterday, you created your own family outside of your biological family, and yeah, I can attest to that. That you're like all your friends when I come around or I meet them, seem like y'all sisters, and you couldn't tell nothing. So
Yeah.
yeah. So the reason why I asked that question is because I just wanted to kind of emphasize the importance of that biological connection with your siblings, with your family, and even when it does work in a situation where it ain't that impactful. When you're in that situation, like you said you didn't really think about it until you were there. So it just goes to show how important family is, right? So on my end, I grew up with all my siblings. That's all I knew was my siblings. Then when she came over, it was like, okay, she's here too, right? So that's all I knew was my siblings growing up. So we grew up really close. So like I told y'all yesterday, when I got married, my ex-wife at the time, well, she was my wife at the time. She wasn't ex to afterwards, but y'all get what I'm saying. My wife at the time was very close to, my siblings, my sisters, they were like best friends. My brother's wife was her best friend. My mom, my dad really took her in as their own. And it was really close knit, their relationship with them.
Yeah,
So
y'all were really, really close.
yeah, it was a lot of interweavel, whatever the word is, in all of that. So yeah, we all were really close. And when it went south, it was kind of hard to navigate that situation. I know that my parents and my siblings were in their mind trying to do the right thing, how they handled it or whatever. And even, I even agree with them. Like they were trying to stay neutral because they understood, hey, that's y'all thing. Y'all got to work that out. Y'all got kids, so we want to be as cordial as possible. But when things began to like when the manipulation and the bad talk and all that stuff start to happen, I didn't have my family because they were trying to give me advice, right? You need to do this, Tommy. You need to do that, and you need to this and that. And I'm like, yo, that's not what I need right now. And they never really understood that. But it wasn't until I had a conversation with you. I had already went through my healing process, but the conversation I had with you kind of helped with me. Even though we talked about how the family should have been there, a conversation with you kind of opened my mind to understand that like they just didn't get it. They
Mhm.
didn't know. They didn't understand. It wasn't like they were
Even
just
me, like
yeah,
until we had that conversation, I even like apologized to you because I didn't realize it because we're only looking at it from our like this perspective versus the whole situation and how you would feel. Like even outside of the whole situation, how you as our brother, son, whatever, you know what I mean? Like how
yeah,
you're feeling and how you're taking like because we go through things, but we still have feelings in regards to like we're still human. You know what I mean? Like how do you feel like this? We no one took the time. At least I know I didn't. I was just kind of reacting to everything that was happening versus listening and checking in to see how you feel because I mean life as you knew it was being totally uprooted, and then on top of that, it was getting real crazy.
it definitely was getting crazy. It was getting spicy. And so like you said, I think no one ever considered my feelings. Their thought process was snap out of it.
Yeah,
Well, it ain't that easy, especially when at the time. So I got my divorce at 30, right? I got married at 20. Before I got married, I was just college. So I went from being this teenager to a married man to divorce. My marriage was a third of my life at that time. So when you think about it from that perspective, that's all I knew. So
everything you
now,
knew that was a part of your existence.
yeah. So now that's no longer established. What am I to do now? And I had a lot of feelings. I had a lot of thoughts, and no one ever like really checked in. I literally, in order for me to communicate with my siblings, with my mom, with my dad, I had to go to them. Right. And this wasn't like they said, hey, you got to come over here. It was just if I stayed home, nobody came by and checked on me. Nobody called, or if I needed to talk, I had to call them. And then when you enter their presence, it's like everybody got solutions, you know. So
But
that
no
became
one's
real
listening.
frustration.
Yeah, but no one's listening. So I think how I kind of, you taught me that I need to be more attentive. But one of the things I learned within my friendship, because if you know me, you know I'm like to tell you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you person. And what I had to learn, like one of my good friends was going through something. And when I found out about it, she didn't tell me. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? And she was like, because I didn't want to hear what I needed to do. What, da, 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 da. So at that moment, I was like, ah. So now, even when I'm talking to y'all or I'm talking to my friends, I'm kind of like, okay, do you want me to listen or do you want me to give my feedback? Like, what are we doing? So I don't cross those boundaries because I've just learned, like, not all the time people want a solution. Sometimes people need to just feel heard.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I get to Dr. Feeling up in here.
Nah. That being heard part is like super important. Cause I remember there were times where I got my homie JT, my brother. I would legit call him whenever whenever I would see something like maybe me and my ex was into it, or maybe somebody said something slick, and you another person I do it with. I call you and tell you all the things that I want to say, and I'm like, hey, I'm good now.
You do.
I'm good.
You
That's
do.
all. I just need to get this out of my system so I don't go ballistic. I would call him up. Then every issue, like, hey man, this, like just cursing
Yeah.
and doing everything I can to get it out of my system. And then I end the call with, all right, I'm good now. And then we'll change the whole
You do
conversation as if I
that.
didn't just say all of that or whatever. Just because, like you said, sometimes you just need to get it out. And I think a lot of family don't consider that, right? They think that, oh, if you coming to me, you want me to answer whatever, or you want me to tell you what you should do in that situation. Like, nah, I just need you to listen. And even after I'm done venting, that don't mean that I'm still in that same mindset. Like, I got out of my system, I'm good now. You know, I'm not mad no more. So you don't have to worry about when I walk out the door, am I gonna beat somebody up? Like, I just
Yeah.
need to get that out of my system.
Yeah. Unfortunately, humans, until it doesn't, and I always say this, and I try my best to do better with this daily. It doesn't, until it affects you personally, it's not personal to you. So meaning they're not even like intentionally doing that. You know what I mean? They're just trying to respond. It goes back to that listening and respond. Like, are you listening to me, or are you just trying to respond and fix it or give what you feel like I should do? I know for me, one of the things I had to scale back with was, because I don't even know if you remember, because I know you had so many traumatic things happen. Like my interaction, and then I just fell back from it completely. Like I didn't go back and forth with you, but I was kind of, I said my piece and then I left. Like I heard something and it made me mad, and then I like got in a group message with everybody and kind of went off and then kind of removed myself. But the reason with that is because I love my family so intensely that sometimes and it sounds bad to say, but I'm like, I'm learning to, I gotta find a better way to say this, but I just gotta say it the way I know how. Like, I care so much about the situation that sometimes I involve myself too much when I need to just kind of step back. So because I heard what was happening, my natural reaction was to, don't make me get it together the way I know how to get it together. And that's not like, no one's kids, we're adults. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is really what's going on. So, like I say, when I spoke with you, I apologized and I realized, like, yo, I never looked at it like that. I was just looking at it like, yo, figure this out. Because on the flip side, I'm divorced. My divorce wasn't nasty. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I didn't understand, and I still don't. Like, I'm really a big advocate for co-parenting and being like, even like just having a relationship outside. It doesn't have to be an intimate relationship, but having a relationship, especially when you have kids together. You know what I mean? So because I know what that could look like, I know it can get, you have moments, but to the capacity that your situation is kind of was,
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way. And because I'm so used to being kind of the big sister and y'all do what I say, I thought that would just work. In reality, like, this is my real life. Like, it's not gonna work like that. This is one of those situations, you know. So it's crazy because until you experience something, you don't, unfortunately, you don't under, you don't understand it.
But even when you experience, like everybody experience is different. Like you just said, you got a divorce and it was like it wasn't
Mm-mm.
messy.
It
And
wasn't messy. It wasn't messy in that sense.
yeah, yeah. So okay, and so then now, Sarah, I'm about to say this sound like our family just began divorce.
It's
Sarah
okay.
got her divorce, right? And this is kind of what opened my eyes to like the way that I need to process things. So when Sarah got her divorce, right? I'm putting her business out. Well, anyway,
A little bit.
anyway, my sister got a divorce or whatever, right? When she got her divorce, she handled it a certain way. I thought she should have handled it this way. In my mind, like, no, don't do that. Nah, just do this, do that. Nah, be
But she
here.
did
Don't.
what was best for her.
But at the time, I couldn't see that. And the way that I viewed it was, oh man, she running, she hurt, she's still bitter, she this. Whole time, she fine. But because I never experienced it, I thought
Mhm.
that's why she was moving the way that she was moving.
Yep.
Fast forward to now, I'm in that situation. I call her up. I said, "Hey, I want to apologize. Like I didn't, as a brother, I wasn't there for you the way that I should have been there for you when you was
Mhm.
going through that situation. I didn't understand it, you know." And I think when you're not, like you said, if you've never been in that situation, it's easier to think of hypothetical things that might work.
Mhm.
You know,
I tell people
especially
all
and
the
I
time, you never, unless it's something you literally experience, you never know what you're gonna do. It sounds good, but until you're in that moment, and then it also depends on just where you are in life. Like a lot of what the way I reacted, I don't even gotta say 10 years ago. The way I reacted last year isn't even the way. Like my growth game is so
yeah,
crazy. Like I'm nowhere near the same person that I was. So even just as you're growing and healing, you respond to things differently, you know?
yeah, yeah. Because I know, yeah, like you said, I tell people all the time, like 25-year-old Tommy is completely different from 30-year-old
Oh,
Tommy.
oh yeah.
30-year-old Tommy is a completely different from 34-year-old Tommy.
Yeah.
34 and 6 months ago is a completely different Tommy. Like I'm
No, like,
always
and we're
still growing.
forever evolving. Like, so it's I had a post up the other day, and I was just like, you evolve, and like life is like, hey, you growing, you reach this level, and then boom, it's another level of maturity you gotta hit. Like literally, we're forever evolving. You'll never get there. I mean, if you're going in the right direction, you should always be looking to improve you. Like just be a better you. That's what I tell people all the time. Just be a better you. But yeah, like everybody doesn't know how to everybody doesn't, they only know to respond from what they think they would do, and
Yeah,
then also what they would do. But then the flip side of it, I'm a natural protector, so I just naturally I've had to learn to sit back, because sometimes my protection can come off as something else, and I don't like how it feels like, so I just had to learn from that and just like, you could protect, but you ain't got to be rah rah. Literally, it sounds as crazy as I get older, but literally the stuff you heard our parents say, grandmother say, I pray about it and keep it moving.
yeah.
Like, cause I used to be trying to play God and it backfired, like super backfired. So I learned my lesson. But go ahead.
So with getting a divorce and like, you know, being in a household where mom and dad was married, they're almost 40 years now. My older sister, Sean, she married. Kanan's married. You know, so their advice to me came from this marriage perspective, right? Okay, so you got a divorce. You should never did that because you was married, but you need to like the way that they would correct or try to correct me. It came from this perspective of almost like the goal of you getting past your divorce is like the only way that we know that you good is if you get into another relationship and get married again. And that was like that's how I view or that's how I felt that they felt about what I was going through. Their advice was all advice about how to keep peace. It was some stuff was like practical stuff, but just like some of it was just like, yo, no, that's not what I'm experiencing right now. For a brother, with me and my brother, and we weren't talking. I just needed my brother to be my brother at the time. I didn't need him to be the married guy so he can tell me, hey, you need to be doing this. I need you to be my brother that when we used to try to sneak and talk to girls and stuff and ain't nobody know it, I needed you to be that person when I was going through that because this is how I'm
Yeah,
feeling and I
no,
need that brother.
yeah.
But I'm getting I'm the big brother and I'm still this and you doing this. And it's like, no, that's not what I need.
But
From
see,
my
this is why conversation, like it sounds so cliche, like communication, it is everything because whole time no one's knowing that. You know what I mean? No one's saying that. So on the flip side, why definitely I'll always be apologetic, you have to say that sometimes too.
yeah,
And I mean, I'm sure you know that now too. You know what I mean? Because from the outside looking in, we just want to help you correct it. We don't want you to be perceived a certain way. We want you to be protected. We want the kids to be okay. We don't want it to be, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So naturally, you're not there. No one's intentions are that. But because we all are operating from our own, I'll say, perspective.
Yeah.
That's how things can come out. That's why I always say, like, me, I'm good. I'm big for a good old come together intervention.
Yeah.
So that's why just communication is so important, and saying, like, it's so underrated and you hear it, but people either say it and don't do it, or they just don't realize the value of it. Like, communication could save so many things. Like, things can go so differently, but pride and ego could sometimes get in the way, and you can't say something in it that, like, depending on the people who it is, it literally can be the death of a relationship. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So just expressing that.
Yeah.
That would be my only thing to you as well. And I know maybe in that moment you knew you needed it, but you maybe didn't know how to express
Yeah.
that. We have to learn to say that, like,
Yeah.
hey, I just need my brother right now. Hey, I don't need that from you right now. I need this from you right now. Like, I've learned to say what I need. I'm very good with what I need, how I need it. Hey, can you do that? And if not, that's okay.
Yeah. Nah, and that's is two part, because like you said, learning to communicate that, it took, I didn't realize that I had to communicate again to after that conversation that we had, because I was like, a lot of this could have been solved if them days where they ain't come over for 4 or 5 days, I could have called them and said, hey, listen, I haven't seen any family in 4 or 5 days and I need to be around my family. That could have solved a lot of that,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, we don't know that, not that we don't know, some of us don't know, or we just don't know how to say this is what I need, like you said. The
Yeah.
flip side of that is, and this is like I said, to the family, you have to think like that. Hey, they're not in their right mind right now, because they're not, and that don't mean that they're crazy. Okay, so that's a big
No,
thing.
it means that something traumatic has just happened. It's life altering. So no, I'm not thinking how I normally would. Yes, I've had a mental breakdown, just being honest. Not
Yeah,
long term, but people take that temporary insanity, not saying
yeah,
you were insane, but
yeah.
the temporary mental breakdown, those are very real. And
And
people
they're very
don't
common.
they don't realize how you took the words out of my mouth. I was say they don't realize how common they are. And in that moment, you can't I'm not hearing nothing you saying.
Right.
Like, you're not talking nothing that I want to hear. I'm not understanding anything you're saying. So we just have to do better. That's why I love that you're doing it, just to bring awareness
Yeah.
on the things to look for, the signs to look for, the things to say that you need. You know what I mean? Just learning how to navigate and make life after divorce or during divorce so much easier, because my biggest thing, especially when kids are involved,
Yeah.
I'm so big on, like, the kids not being affected as much as possible. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. So here we are. Family. I'm feeling the type of way. Family responding in the type of way. Because of that, I said to myself, I can't do this, because it's driving me nuts trying to convince them otherwise. So I separated myself from family, right? It took me, like I said, having that phone conversation with you and experiencing other things to realize that, like, um, you know, I don't think that my family, like, we've spent too much time together for my family to, like, really be like against me, right? And I know I've had intimate and vulnerable moments with my parents. There's no way that they can be against me. And the more I start thinking about that, I'm like, okay, Tommy, they just ill informed. Nobody's trying to hurt you, right? Because again, when you having that mental breakdown, your thought process is different. Okay, you
You feel
not thinking.
attacked.
You
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 feel
you
you feel attacked
yeah, you go into survival mode. You want to protect yourself. That at that time, I'm trying to defend myself against everything. I'm trying to protect myself.
because the people that are normally there to protect you are now, you
Yeah,
feel attacked. So you have to protect yourself. It's natural. It's actually more normal than you think.
yeah. I know for a fact that there's people who are currently functioning through mental breakdowns, and they're unaware of it. They trying to figure out why why life is so chaotic. It's probably because you're having a mental breakdown, and it's okay. Like, it happens, especially when you experience, like, when I experienced my divorce, I can say, like, looking back, yo, I had several mental breakdowns. Like, to the point, I never thought about suicide at all. But the thoughts of, like, man, I wonder what life would be like if I wasn't here. I would have those dark thoughts, and not having anybody to tell that to, because if I tell that to my family, they calling the peoples, they trying to send me to the asylum, they trying to cast out demons. I remember one time I
Nope.
had I had a situation. Check it out. So, um, my daughter, it was her birthday or whatever, and she had asked me to come to the birthday party or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. Again, I'm not thinking about just what people say I'm weird just because I don't have like this. I I look for the best in everybody. Like I just don't think that people are inherently evil, all that other stuff. So me and my ex, we on good terms, right? Ain't nobody arguing. I had an argument in days. She texted me about trying to plan for the girl birthday party, asking me, at what time they gonna do it, where they gonna do it at. So I'm thinking, oh man, this, things are finally like
Moving in
cool,
the right direction.
moving in the right direction, right? So I call my daughter and I said, all right, cool. Hey, tell your mom to send me the address. I'm on my way there. So she sent me a text message, you ain't invited. I'm like, so why you spend this whole weekend telling me about it? Don't know. So I'm hot, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm about to go to this party. I know I ain't going there to fight nobody. I know I'm literally going there because my daughter really wanted me to be there, right? So I guess she called my mom and told my mom that I was just like going ham, cursing out, and she gonna have to call the police because she don't know what I'm gonna do when I get there, right? Mind you, in my mind, I'm calm. I didn't say nothing crazy. My mom called me. My mom called me, boy, you need to stop right now. And she started praying and started speaking. The devil trying to get you. And I'm sitting there, and my dad holding the phone while she on speakerphone.
Bye.
And I told my dad, I said, Dad, hang the phone up. Dad, hang the phone up. Like, I'm fine, hang the phone up. And I got irritated. I'm like, yo, you trying to cast a demon out of me. I'm completely fine. I'm completely fine. But because this is how you perceive me, this is what you think I am, you think that there's something wrong with me. And what y'all have to do as families understand, hey, listen, what we may think ain't all what's happening. Let me take a step back. You know, a
Mm-mm.
better thing would have been to do was to call and say, hey, Tommy, you okay? Hey, what's going on? You good, right? Start a little conversation with me or something. And then analyze, okay, he don't sound like he in the mood. And then if I still feel like, I say, hey, Tommy, you good? Is you're not aggressive, you don't feel mad about anything or anything like that, nothing. And that's how I would handle that as a family member, instead of like coming out, you doing this, you doing that, and
Yeah.
it was just frustrated, man.
And then the next thing is, especially with, um, I mean, with everybody, it's not just with older people. I say older people because we all, I say that because they've been here longer than us,
Yeah,
but we all kind of get set in our own ways. You know what I mean? And if no one, if you've never had to do things differently, that's kind of what it is. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's
My
the
bad.
no, you're good. That's the other thing about it, because everyone is so. I've learned over time as I lived a little longer. It's funny because I just be like, live a little longer when people tell me stuff.
Yeah,
I'm learning to not be so set, because my way don't mean it's the right way. It's just my way.
yeah. Yeah, man. And this is the beautiful thing about like now, like I tell people now, my family, we're in a space, we're communicating more. It's still awkward, we wasn't talking like this. There's still awkward moments, but there it's progressing towards getting back
Definitely
to
is.
how, we used to be. Um, and it's just a beautiful thing when you reconnect with your family. And then now you guys can see, hey, this is who I am now. Because the last time we was together, I was the divorce dude, right? That had all the problems. I'm not that person anymore. So now that we're in these environments, you don't have to treat me like that person no more, right? Get used to the new me. This is who I am now, right? That's how. Never mind, because I don't want the people to come get
No, I get what you mean, because that's kind of like, I'm known to be the crazy big fighter sister, and I'm actually the biggest lover ever. Like, hey,
me.
no, you shouldn't do that. Hey, no, 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 no. So no, I totally get it. You kind of get labeled.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think it's just our family. People
yeah,
just in general, they do that.
yeah,
So I'm very I'm very aware, self-aware. And I say that because even when you're doing your best, and I'm just telling you this because I see you evolving and thriving, you know what I mean? Like, even when it's not received as that from family, friends, whoever it may be, it's so important to know who you are and be self aware, because it's easy to let someone else tell you who you are. Because a lot of people in my past, when they meet this version of me, they're like, wait, huh? Wait, what's happening? Like, you're not gonna say nothing? You're not gonna. I'm like, oh no. And they like, nah, something up. You know what I mean? But then it's funny because like my friends who are here in Atlanta, the people in Atlanta who got to meet me, um, I laugh because I say it's so funny because they don't know. They have no idea. So some people like try to take advantage and it's like, don't do that. So I just want to encourage you and anyone else listening, like even when you know you're making strides in the right direction to be a better you, no matter what that looks like for anyone else, just stand firm in that. You know what I mean? Not like, I'm not saying, definitely always, I'm a lifetime learner. I've learned something from you. I learn something from everyone daily, and I'm always working on how to be a better me. But just be very self-aware, because what happens to a lot of people is literally, if you don't know who you are, that's why so many like identity crisis, because
Yeah.
people let people tell them, you can't, I'm not that, you can't label me as that. That's not my job to even convince you. The only thing I can do at this point is be me, and either you will see it or you won't. And for a long time, I spent my life trying to convince people that I wasn't this rah rah. Like, I just love my family and I'm a protector. Like, people in general, like that's just who I am. I've always been kind of like Martin Luther King, more Malcolm X probably, but yeah, no. So just stand firm in who you are becoming and who you are, and make adjustments where needed and communicate what you need. Like, that's the biggest thing. Even going forward into new relationships, no matter what relationship it is, be able to, and don't be afraid, do it unapologetically. Like, this is who I am, this is what I need. And I tell people all the time, people will either flow with what you're like, accept it, or they won't. And the people who won't, that's okay.
It's completely fine.
It's okay. a
I
lot
know.
of times a lot of times people don't speak up because they're afraid of the response they'll get, because they don't want to deal with the rejection or the whatever comes with it. I tell people all the time, I'm perfectly okay with it, because I'm okay with who I am. But go ahead, I'm turning this to something.
Did I go off? My screen just went off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can't, like, you're frozen though.
I'm frozen. Oh man.
Now I can't see you at all.
Okay. Well, I'll figure it out or
Okay.
whatever. It's probably my camera. Oh, my camera did die.
I'm like, it just went out now. But we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So as family, one of the things that you're going to have to do to be able to help, people going through divorce is embrace the changes that they made. And I ain't talking about like I'm talking about like if, you know, not like toxic situations, but like if they're a different person now, like maybe they don't, maybe they drink now, but not like in the sense like getting drunk, but maybe they are social drinker now, they're not a bad person. They not alcoholic now. Oh man, they're alcoholic now. No, there are gonna be things that changes about that person. And to love them through it, you gotta embrace those changes. You want them to be the person that they was last time that they saw you. They had a whole different life experience now,
Yeah.
right? The old them, for me, the old me was dead. I spent 10 years being a husband, and I wasn't a husband anymore. So what does that look like for me? Now I'm a single man. Not only that, and this is why it was crazier for me, because again, I was a 19-year-old kid, turned 20, got married. I didn't get to experience the dating world in my 20s. And not saying I was just going out there being a hoe, or that's what you should be doing in your 20s,
Yeah.
but
You
I'm
just
now a single
experience
man.
in
And
life, you didn't really get to do that. I get it.
yeah, and now the dating scene is completely different than what it was
Um,
before I got married. So
That's a
I'm
whole
still
nother
thinking,
level.
I'm going into situations still thinking, hey man, I can tell a girl, hey man, you fine, let me get your number. That's a
Bye.
creep.
Have a good day, creeper.
You a creep now. Before I got married, I can get their number on my hand and we, you know what I'm saying, try not to wash it and write it down. That's weird now.
Oh, it's very
So it's like
weird.
even learning how to, date people after divorce has been a whole new experience. So like I don't know, man. Is a lot of growth that happens, and as a family, you have to be able to like just take a step back and say, hey, as long as they're not doing nothing like super crazy, like they're not addicted. Like you have to step back and embrace it. Like, okay, this is who they are. I may not agree with everything that they're doing, but they seem to be in a better position.
But
They
I love.
seem to,
We have to love. You have to love people for them and love them
yeah.
through it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go, you're good. I'm still trying to figure out why my camera is gone.
Yeah, except I think no, it did something. But yeah, we just have to be very conscious. I suggest like in my personal household, not like family, and we should probably implement something like this so we can take it back. If they're watching, they'll see it now. Like safe words and just different things. Like, are you in a good space right now? What's going on? Like, hey, we need to talk about this X, Y, and Z, or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like if we feel like each other, we're wild because naturally. So there's it's so crazy and loving and guiding. So from a parental perspective and from just a sibling, like just loving people. Like you have to, as bad as we want to change things, even when we see them happening, um, like something happening not for the betterment of them, you can't do that because what it tends to do is push you away. So all we can do is encourage, let people know that we're there, and also let them know. Like my biggest thing is when you see someone, and you know I'm big on this. This still has not changed about. Like if I see you doing just some dumb stuff that you don't need to be doing, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know I love you, but you out here moving real crazy. I'm gonna need you to
Yeah,
get that together. Like
yeah,
because I'm a firm believer that a lot of people do a lot of things because they just have no clue. That's just like no one says anything.
yeah.
So I can love you, but I still ain't gonna let you be out here doing nothing crazy now without knowing. Now what you choose to do after I tell you, that's totally up to you. But
when I
um
when I when I created my family after my divorce, there were moments again in the beginning of my divorce, there were moments where like I legit did some dumb stuff because I wanted to get my way, you know. And they would check me like, hey dude, like what the hell are you doing? Like, dude, like you messing up, you making the situation worse doing what you doing.
yeah,
Hey, you need to apologize. Nigga,
I
I'm
love
not
it.
I'm not nigga. Like apologize. So here I am sending an apology to my ex, knowing that she gonna think it's something else or whatever. But I gotta eat that because again, this is a choice I made.
Mhm.
But like you said, having those people that's gonna ring your, hey, all right, it's cool, you cool, but like you don't go too far in there. Like you wilding out right now, dude. You need to chill out.
Mhm.
And having knowing that they have your best interests, I
Yeah.
say entrance, your
Interesting.
best interests at heart. They're not trying to judge you. They saw you at your low. They
Mhm.
they they didn't judge you. They let you go through your stuff, and then they pulled you up and say, "Hey, this is what we doing now." Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you need that instead of people constantly beating you down. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop
Yeah.
doing this. This is tough love. I don't believe in tough love. Just my opinion. There's no such thing as tough love. I just think it's you trying to be mean and get away with it. But
I believe in tough love.
I don't.
So my definition of tough love is this. So naturally again, and you know me, but naturally, um, not tough love is for me like if I can help you or bail you out of whatever situation you're in, like if I can be there, I'm there. Tough love for me is holding you accountable for the poor decisions you continue to make. So once you make a conscious decision to make this a repeat behavior of yours, my tough love is to not bail you out and let you find out what the consequences of your actions really are. So that's my version of tough love.
That's a good version of tough love. I can embrace that one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I said, man, just being there for the person, walking them through it because you need a balance, and I think that's what people don't understand. Like when somebody is getting on you and you kind of draw back, their thought is, see, you don't want to listen. No, they need that, but they also need the,
Yeah, they
hey
need
man,
both.
it's cool if you feel like cursing somebody out right now.
Mhm.
Like, go ahead, get out your system. When you're
Yeah.
done, hey, you know you
Don't
shouldn't have did
condemn
that.
you and judge you for
Yeah,
having a moment. Do not let my moment define my whole entire life. Like it was a moment. Let it pass. Totally
yeah,
agree.
yeah. Like my moment, the I would say my moment in my divorce that was like a moment that I had and engaged with her was the moment that like I was calling her the B word and like cursing out in front of my daughter. That was my moment. And for me, I didn't need them to tell me that that was my moment. That was when I realized, yo, dude, you letting this go too far. And I had to go to my daughter and explain to her, like, hey, I was in my feelings and I said some things that I shouldn't have said. I don't care how I feel, how your mom makes me feel. It was wrong for me to do that in front of you. That was the moment that I experienced. Now there are people right now that still holds me to that one moment,
Yeah.
right? Even some of my siblings, I remember, um, I because of that one moment, I became the aggressive sibling.
Yeah.
Don't tell Tommy nothing. Or here go Tommy, you trying to fight people. Or or if there's conflict and I'm trying to solution, why you trying to do it? Like I'm not a fighter. I'm not that person. I'm the most peaceful person that most people know. Like when there's tension, I'm going to get to the core of the tension to try to come to a solution that make everybody either reconcile the situation or we just figure things out. So
Yeah.
because of that one moment that I had, my family labeled me as that.
I get it. No, I get it because I've had some labels too. Some I deserve, some I didn't deserve. Um, you know, just like I say, showing up as your authentic self, acknowledging that you what you did, how you handled it, acknowledge that you had a moment, apologetic about it, and just making sure that you don't become a repeat offender. That's all you can do. It's up to them what they do with that. But you know me, what I tend to do, especially with family, when I see the family getting judgy. Um, because that's really what that is at the end of the day, just being honest. Outside of the label, it becomes a bit judgy. I kind of say, just because my moment is a little different than your moment. You remember your moment? Oh yeah, that didn't feel good, did it? And I'm not saying that to bring up your moment, but just to remind you that we're all human and we have moments, and it's okay. Okay, Tommy is completely gone now. Okay, so I guess I'm doing this thing by myself. This is interesting. But
Oh,
yeah.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh,
Damn.
okay, okay.
I'm trying to figure out why I ain't on the screen. I don't like that. I want people to see my face.
But yeah, your moment is just your moment, and sometimes you have to. I know I do. I like, but you guys expect that kind of from me. Y'all are kind of used to me. I'm kind of like the mama bear of the crew or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm always like, hey, I'll try to show you by leading with love. I always lead with love. But then when it doesn't feel like that, I'll just kind of remind you, like, because sometimes people just need a little reminder. That's the thing. Just because your moment looks different than mine, it doesn't make my moment any worse or better than yours.
Yeah. So families out there, let's watch this. And you got a family member going through a divorce. Matter of fact, honestly, it ain't even just divorce. Any traumatic experience, like this is something that you should seriously consider. You don't have all the answers. What Kanye say? You ain't got all the answers, Sway. You don't have all the answers. And it's okay not to have all the answers. I think sometimes
Absolutely
we get
okay.
the pride and the arrogance in us roused up, and the ego is like, I can fix this situation. If they take my advice, it'll make everything work for them.
Mhm.
You don't have to do that. Sometimes you just got to sit back, let them go through what they're going through, and when they need you, just be there.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
be there.
sure,
They
sure.
don't need you to be a savior. Everybody don't need a savior. Some people just need somebody that they can say, okay, I know if I fall, this person can pick me up.
Yeah.
And with family, the family needs to have that. Again, like your scenario, like you said about the your version of tough love. Yeah. After so many times, you want to kind of step back and let them experience what they're going
Yeah.
through. But in traumatic moments,
Mhm.
somebody losing a child, going through divorce, going through a bad breakup. It ain't gotta just be divorce. You have any type of broken relationship, they lost a job, something, anything that happened can cause a person to not process things the way that they normally process things. And instead of like just filling them with your way of doing things, just sit back, chill, and listen. Embrace what they're experiencing. Guide them when they want you to guide them. Let them fall when they need to fall, and just be there to pick them up. So,
And to piggyback off of that, I just want to add too, don't take it personal, if, because again, my version of tough love, if someone decides to kind of like fall back. And I'm saying this because sometimes I'm the first to say, like, I'll try to, because I'm a natural fixer. That's what I do. I fix things. So when I'm seeing that nothing I'm doing can help, like whether it's listening, advice, whatever it may be, I fall back. Not in the sense that I'm not there, but I kind of remove myself from the situation so they can experience what they need to experience and learn. Because I'm a big believer in no loss, just lessons learned. Like, what am I supposed to learn from this? But anyway, don't take it personal when they fall back, because a lot of times people have their own, it's not personal. Like,
yeah,
I have my own stuff. I might can't handle what you're giving me right now. And because you're not in your right mind space, I'm gonna be honest, you're not finna make me not be in my right mind space.
right, right.
So that's okay. I'll tell people in a minute, because I am a life coach as well. Like, that's a beyond my pay grade. You probably need to go see somebody that can write you a prescription. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, no, that's real. That's real. So, I want to wrap this whole thing up because like my goal is to help, single divorce men process life post divorce, right? That's the whole goal. I did want to speak to the family, but at the end of the day, fellas, at the end of the day, we talked about this earlier. You have to you can't sit and expect people to be there for you, right? Family falls off, it happens. You have to do something about it. Go out there, create the family that you want, you know? And then when you create this family, remember that family ain't there to replace. The family is there to fill the void. And then when the opportunity arises to mend things with your natural family, do that with them too. Now you got more people and more support.
Definitely.
And now that you've been out of the situation, you now can communicate, hey y'all, listen, I'm not doing good. So I need y'all right now, instead of expecting them to figure out, because we can't be acting like everybody get hints, you know,
Mhm.
especially when you've been distant for a while. So start communicating that.
Yeah.
You know,
No one
if you
is a
need
mind
your
reader.
sister, if you need your brother, tell him that. Go ahead. What would you say?
I said no one is a mind reader, so definitely communicate what you need. We too often expect people to know how we feel. Like, you don't want people assuming, because the things they're assuming may not be what you're trying to communicate. So you want to make sure that you advocate and communicate for yourself. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So that's it. This is probably the longest live that I did, and then half the time my face wasn't even on here. So thank y'all for watching. Please share this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm at 299. I need 301 by the morning. All right. So I need y'all to go ahead and do that. I'll talk to y'all later. Today was day 10, day 11. I got something for y'all. So I can't wait for that. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all be blessed.